we're here again for Oaks Fitness. We've gone through our progressions from our bodyweight squat. We've done a back squat. We've done our goblet squat. Now we're going to move into our front squat series, which will lead into our Zercher squats. Nick's going to go through some of the bullet points as to what we want to focus on, and then Joe will be executing the movement. So with that, go ahead, Nick.
Sure. So with the front squat, there are a few key points that we have outlined over here. We tried to start with the very beginning of the movement and then slowly work our way into like the end period of the movement. So to start off, there are a few different grips. We have the 3-finger grip on the bar, which just means that it's resting along the deltoid and the clavicle. The elbows are elevated. We don't want the bar to be resting on the wrist, pulling the hands back, or the palm, I should say, pulling the hands back. We want it right on these 3 fingers here. We don't want to be smushing your fingers. Elevating the elbows. Second variation would be like the genie variation or the cross arm variation, where you have your arms in front. You're holding the bar, again, right by the clavicle with the elbows raised. And then third one, this is the variation that I use when I do the front squat. It's the safety squat variation. And you can use like hand wraps or towels. And I have really bad elbows and lack of flexibility. This is really good if you have an issue with flexibility in the elbows or anything like that. You just wrap it around the bar and you can hold on to the handles. It's kind of doing the same thing. You want to keep the elbows up. You can kind of hold the bar in place with the towels. Okay, it's a good variation.
So with that, any of these setups here, we're going to start with a closed grip, get set on that bar, and then we're going to release on the 3 fingers. We at that point release our pinkies and our thumbs, crossed arms. Again, the weight just in the 3 fingers, the weight's going to be on the deltoids, the collarbone, clavicular pec, not forward of the body, not down into the elbows or way back onto the hands.
As far as musculature that is being activated during this movement, obviously we have the quads and the glutes. We also have shoulder girdle, erector spinae, a lot of core. Core is really a big part of this movement as well, being the weight is in front, the load is in front. So without a strong core, we're going to have the tendency to fall forward, especially with shoulders, with the anterior portion of the deltoid. If we don't have a strong shoulder girdle, we don't have the strong anterior deltoid, or we'll just say shoulders in general, that weight will pull the elbows down, which will pull my chest down, shoulder girdle down, and then the weight will kind of fall. So we want to make sure that those muscles are strong enough to kind of execute the movement, handle the weight, execute the movement. Obviously the key points with the position itself, as we had mentioned, elbows up. Okay, we always, especially as we descend, okay, as we descend into the movement, those elbows should raise. I need to have my chin up. I need to push my weight to my heels. I need to have my chest up nice and proud. I don't ever want anything within this area to fall, okay, because then I'm compromising my spine. I'm compromising my musculature and my actual structure of my spine, okay?
When Nick says his chin up, he means a neutral spine. He's not going to really compress into that, pulling the chin up. He's maintaining a good neutral spine. His chin is forward, his eyes are forward. He's not tucking it down towards his chest to help stabilize.
And then as far as depth, which is a very popular topic for whatever reason, we always want to, at least when we're starting, think of 90 degrees. So that being in the knee, okay? Hip and knee. I always want to initiate any squat movement. Any squat movement I want to initiate with my hips. So my hips come back first, which will in turn push my knees back, so my weight's in my heels. Then I can bend my knees. What I always use with some clients is, if you were to sit in a chair without putting your hips back first, you're going to miss the chair. Okay? Almost fell forward. Right? So you always want to push your hips back first, so my knee lines up with my heel, and then I can execute the movement. So I want to hit that 90-degree point. Okay? And then from there, I can push through my heels. I want to look at the ceiling like Mike was saying. And I want to drive through, and then full extension, the hip full extension.
And as he's pressing up through his heels, his knees are pressing out. He's tracking with the feet. He's not allowing knee valgus where those knees cave in and draw forward. So he's really focusing, squeezing those knees out. So at that bottom of that movement, as he's coming up, he's not allowing those knees to twist in. However he's planted, He's squeezing up, pulling the hips forward at the end of that movement.
Okay, and then with that all being said, we're going to have Joe execute the movement.
All right, so I'm going to demonstrate the regular version of the front squat here, the regular grip. I'm going to grab my hand, throw my elbows through. I'm going to lose my pinky and my first finger. Set it right on my front delts here. Step out about shoulder width, turn the toes out a little bit. And I want to brace my core really tight before I descend. So big breath, tight core. Come down to the bottom, stay tight, and then come up. I'm only going to go to about 90 degrees. You want to make sure you're sitting back with the hips first. Don't break at the knees first. And keep the chest up. If I start dumping down here, I'm going to lose the barbell. So it's very important to drive those elbows up, drive the chest up, and keep a neutral head.